what has been phenomenally enjoyable has also been what's the biggest challenge, which is that in contrast to the first movie, which was a relatively straightforward narrative, although a lot was hidden, this is a complex story. So that was simultaneously very challenging to write and enormously satisfying to write, you know, because I like it. I do really enjoy a challenge, and it was finding the structure to make sense of all these different strands so that people understood when we hit our climactic scene what was at stake and why characters were reacting as they were reacting to Grindelwald. And also, you've got this thread running through the movie, which is who is Credence. The crimes of Grindelwald have historically been crimes of violence and terror. However, as we meet him in this movie, we do see him kill again. We see him kill lightly, cold-bloodedly, but we also see his immense seductive power. And it should be shocking. I wrote it, and it's shocking to me that he's a sociopath. So we watch him corrupt an innocent, and we see his immense duplicitous gift of speech in the final scene where we really see the danger of the man. The appeal of moving beyond the UK is twofold. Firstly, for the sheer sensory pleasure of looking at wizards in different cities, habitats. It's so visually interesting to mix up the architecture and the flora and fauna of different continents. So yes, there are definitely places that I would like to go. It's very freeing not to be stuck in a school. So on a very prosaic level, of course, it's so much fun to press on into different places and look at wizards and witches there. But also it really serves our plot because with the Potter movies, even though one had the sense that Voldemort was a threat to the whole wizarding world, you never saw how it was affecting people in the rest of the world. Well, this time I wanted to look at a world war, a world uprising, and actually go see that, not just stay with one character in the UK and see what was happening. So you want to do new things, you want to do it differently. I was looking in movie 2 to move to a city where I felt that there would be a much more fluid relationship between the magic and the mundane. And in the 20s, I had to be Paris. Of course it had to be Paris. And Paris genuinely was, at that time, you know, in reality, a place where you had a far more bohemian society. So you had people of very varying backgrounds going into Paris and living this more bohemian life. You know, the artistic community was far more diverse in every sense than you would have met in certain other cities in the 1920s. So it felt perfect to go here. The Dumbledore we meet here is clever, is gifted, and he's very mysterious. No one really understands why this man is a school teacher. You know, he appeared to be born to be the preeminent wizard in the world. He appeared to be born to become the head of the International Confederation, to have, to embrace a role that would make him part of wizarding history. And he disappeared to this school in Scotland and stayed there. Why? In this story particularly, the battle between light and dark is a very interesting way of phrasing what's going on in this movie, because it is precisely our human drive to simplify and divide everyone into black hats and white hats that has resulted in a huge destabilization in the wizarding world. Grindelwald inspires an almost cult-like devotion in his followers. And it's very easy as an outsider to look at that and say bad. We have a tendency to simplify. If we look at what he's saying and analyze it, it does fall apart. However, if you're not paying a lot of attention to the substance and the inherent contradictions in what he's saying, It sounds very seductive, very plausible, and it can persuade people that you or I might consider good people. When I met Jude, we had this very intense meeting, just the two of us, where I basically told him everything about Dumbledore that I've ever known, but not told anyone else, literally. I've never told anyone some of the things I told Jude. And he took notes and asked questions, and yeah, it was great. And he's done an amazing job. I really like his performance. I think it's going to surprise people, and there's a lot more to go with this character. So I think people will be rightly hungry for more.